Hello, hello, my green skins. And I'm with Dark Shotgun. We're doing another review, and this is a review of Where Eagles Dare, Richard Burton
Hell yeah, Richard Burton. He's a
and
great
Clint
actor.
Eastwood. hmm
Clint Eastwood is hit and miss for me,
Clint's always been he's good, but he's always plays a tough guy. But anyway,
which isn't a bad thing. I mean, Stallone and Schwarzenegger play the macho action guys most of the time, and they excel at it. It's just I don't know. I just never got into him. Not in like a fanboy type thing like I did with Stallone and Schwarzenegger. He just doesn't capture my attention as well as they do. But this movie captures my attention because it's Richard Burton, and he's a juggernaut Hollywood star.
it is kind of funny how Richard Burton's pretty much an unknown nowadays, but yet back in the day he was like think about it. People would like names like like Clint Eastwood. Like for example, the last movie we watched, James Bond, Richard Burton was second. They were all second fiddle to Richard Burton.
Yeah, like he carried the movie. I'm not saying undermining the other actors, but they all did their part well. But it's like Richard Burton and these other actors, megastar actors, didn't take away from each other. They only added to each other. Clint Eastwood,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think. Well, he certainly doesn't. I feel like in this particular role, like Burton steals the show, and Clint Eastwood could have been replaced by any other big American actor because they needed an American for the part. It wouldn't have made much of a difference. I think it was just the
Oh yeah.
story.
No, 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 no. Okay. We're gonna get down to this. We'll break it down piece by piece. Music for this movie.
Um, Pretty good. I think it's pretty generic military score for the time. You know, it's what you'd
It,
expect.
Yeah, it's not as good as some of the other war movie music. Like, I still think Kelly's Heroes has the most interesting and fun soundtrack of like the war movies from that era. But I would say this one, the main opening is good. The opening that is good.
Yeah, movies at that
But
time they had a main opening, which was good, but the rest of the thing, the background music was all there was pretty a lot of generic stuff.
yeah,
So
now we're gonna get to the scene work. What did you think of the environment? What did you think of this stuff? How this movie was shot.
oh, I thought it was great. I love the angles. I love the cinematography. There's a lot of they like engulf the characters in their surroundings because where it was shot, the
Uh,
mountains and the snow. It gives the sense of isolation because these are guys who are on their own and they have nothing to help them. They're in unknown territory, so it adds to that uncertainty or risk factor, I should say.
yeah. Then we get our what's it called? Then we get to the I guess the story. Do you want to step on the story now? What did you think
Uh,
of the story?
yeah, the story. It's a very good story, but this is not a problem per se. It's just something to keep in mind. This is not a movie that's designed to entertain. It's not a popcorn movie. There's a lot to take in. This is a movie that doesn't spoon feed military culture and language and all that stuff to the audience. It's because it was made at a time you know when World War II was fresh in people's minds.
Mm,
That familiarity was still there. So if you're not familiar with any of that, people do tend tend to wonder why do they do this? Why are they doing that? Why is this movie so slow? Why are they talking like this? Because modern
no, well,
films would try to spice it up too much.
I would actually say that this movie's a little bit for story. I think the story is well done. I think they did an amazing job with it,
I agree.
and I don't think that the story was. I don't actually would say it's easy to follow, even if you don't know war. It is actually followable because there's a lot of times they'll actually kind of explain a little bit. They'll do a little timbit,
No, I just feel like this movie
and
is dense, and I mean that in a good way. It gives
oh
you
yeah,
more
it is
substance.
dense. Yeah, because it's like when we're leading up to action scenes, there's a lot to lead up to, and that's what this movie does. It's a lead. It's not an escape adventure. It's a lead. It leads you somewhere,
Yes.
and that's actually the story leads you. And now the action scenes. What did you think of the action scenes?
The action scenes are pretty good because I think what makes it work is that this is not trying to be a blockbuster. It does what's needed. I mean, you have this problem where a lot of movies, I mean, it works in some movies to go over the top, but this movie doesn't do that. So if you want to see cars crashing and exploding and things falling out of the air, you're not going to get very much of that here. It's very subdued by comparison. So it's more
Well,
grounded, I should say. It's very grounded action.
I would say it's a time. I think it's a period piece of its time. I actually could say for back in the day, this is a blockbuster. This is that Hollywood blockbuster for back in the day. But remember, we don't have those. We didn't have Michael Bay back in the day, so we don't have that. Like every 5 seconds, there was massive explosions and shaky cam and seeing what's her face's butt a bunch of times, which is not gonna lie, she has a great butt. Um,
Well, speaking of butts, I mean, this movie has Ingrid Pitt, and she's known for showing her boobs in other movies, even though in this one
yeah,
movie
she
she
was.
doesn't.
Yeah. There were actually, yeah, that three bombs. I think there were two bombshells in this movie, if I remember correctly. Two actual what are called back in the day, what were the female, the female starlets and type of stuff. I believe they're called bombshells back in the day. So yeah, no, yeah, there was. Now we get to the acting.
Well, you
Is
have to keep in
this?
mind this is British theater actors mostly, so of course it's going to be top grade, high quality acting.
Yes and no.
Okay, what's the no?
Oh, I find there are some scenes that are done really well, but there are some scenes that were done. It felt a little shaky. Wasn't horrible, but wasn't great. There are some amazing scenes, but I did like the fact that there's a couple scenes I like with the acting. I can't really don't want to go into spoiler Taylor. Maybe we'll do a little spoiler pop at the end, but um, there is one scene that is equally awesome and equally crappy. Like it didn't feel right. But it was so well. It was kind of because of Richard Burton and how he acts and how he was able to just switch. It was great. It had its moments. The problem is if this was done with someone without some actual acting chops, I don't think this would have worked. And I think that having someone like Richard Burton, and yeah, he was getting old, so it was kind of getting that point where he shouldn't have been doing this anymore. We were getting to that point where he's like, "Yeah, I don't think Richard Burton should stop." I think this was before Wild Geese or after Wild Geese. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, Wild Geese. But the Wild Geese's excuse for having him is that it is about old men getting back into the action, because
Yeah,
yeah, this one is supposed to be men who are in their prime. Yeah, you can tell
yeah.
he's old,
He
and I don't think enough makeup, or maybe the HD version shows more clearly that the makeup is not as effective.
no. He is an older man. You could tell he's an older man. You could tell this is like his last mission type of thing. You get that last mission vibe from it. But it was really well done. This is a great lead up movie. This is a great war movie. This is a great spy movie. This has amazing points in it, but unfortunately, there are a couple falls.
A couple, that's good for a movie. I mean, movies nowadays have are mostly nothing but flaws.
Yeah, well, I like to call movies nowadays. I feel like they get this nice little movie and then they push it off a cliff and then they distribute it and then they distribute a different version to China because the Chinese don't like that.
Oh, is that too controversial for the channel?
No, that's not. I didn't say much. I'm just saying that the Chinese usually get a revised version of movies, which is true. That's true, guys. Like, come on, that's honest truth. They multiple times they get revised versions,
Chinese will be like,
and
"How dare you!"
No, that's the truth. Like, hey, you know what? Whatever floats your boat is the way I look at it. And I'm not going to say anything else about
Yes.
that. Okay, stop while I'm ahead. What is the rating of this movie?
Oh,
What are you going to rate this movie?
this is a solid 9. Like,
8.9 for me.
I mean, I will say if there's one, the biggest flaw I have with it is that it is a bit long. It's like 2 hours and 2.5 hours. I remember this was made in the '60s, so ending credits were very short back in the day. So it's like
Yeah,
it is practically 2 hours and 34 minutes of movie.
yeah. Which you could cut out some of it, but not all of it. It's so hard to say what you could cut out of this movie. It's one of those movies where, yeah, we admit it's long, but how do you cut out a certain part? Because there's a couple scenes that just don't make any like, this is actually important. And it's like, yeah, I'd cut this scene, but nah, I wouldn't cut the scene. Yeah, I'd cut the scene. Nah, that really helps this scene out. It's because of the leading. So, you want to get to spoiler territory and do some spoilers?
Sure, why not?
Okay, so the
Spoilers
reason
come
we
right now,
call.
people. If you must turn
Wow,
off the turn off the
wow.
video if you don't want spoilers.
Yeah. So, this movie is the reason I call this movie has Richard Burton is great at deadpanning something. But that one scene, there's a scene in the movie after when they're talking to the Nazis. Uh-oh. When they're talking to the bad guys.
Really, we can't even say that word.
Yeah, but yeah. We're just not going to say that word, just in case.
This is gonna be a bit of a problem because the poster of the
When we're
movie has a
talking to
certain
the no man. Oh no, just go for it.
the poster that I have on the video has a certain symbol.
That's okay. Go for it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that scene where he's tricking them, and that is
Yeah,
gruesome.
tricking the no men.
Yeah,
Yeah, when he's tricking them, but the problem is that scene fails because of how it when the really no man shows up. When he shows up, Richard Burton just switches. I don't believe for a second someone could actually do that and switch in a lie instantly.
that's debatable. I mean, as
That
a spy,
that is
he's trained to think on his feet. You
yeah,
know,
but that was amazing. But that is fucking that scene is equally amazing and unbelievable. That's the problem with that scene. That scene is so good, but it's so unbelievable. It's so amazing, but so unfucking believable. It's like you think to yourself, Jesus fuck, how? How could he have just simply figured that out and just moved in like that? It's so good. Like I can't help but just go, damn, that's an awesome scene.
yeah,
What do you?
I think it's a great scene. I enjoy it. I enjoyed it the first time I watched it. It was one hell of a. It was very tense,
Yeah, yeah,
very
and the
tense.
action. Yeah, and a lot of people say this movie doesn't have that much action. I would disagree. This movie has lots of action, lots of cool moments in it. And there's that the flight scene is amazing.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's not a movie where
right?
action is continuous like in the '80s and after. You know, it's like action is the action served a purpose. This is like I said, this is not a popcorn movie. I mean, I guess it's a blockbuster for its time, but it's a very substance heavy movie. So
Yeah.
it focuses more on story than spectacle.
Hmm.
But what spectacle
Oh,
does
what are you
have,
talking?
such as the mountain they had to get into that castle. Oh my god, that in
Yeah,
itself is very tense. Like, how are they gonna get into that building?
yeah, and then the escape scene. That scene's etched in my mind. Like that is one of the best scenes. I think that's still one of the most coolest scenes because you actually see, unlike some movies, you actually see them prepare all that. Like you watch them set the bombs, set the triggers for the bombs, and the fact that they remembered where that all that was God, damn, this movie's awesome. Like I said, an 8.9 is perfect for this movie. I think that this movie's up there in awesomeness.
What did you think about at the start of the movie? How when he found one of their like oh here we have to make it clear at the start of the movie, Richard Burton and Clint Eastwood go to Germany, go to the mountains. It was
Mhm.
Germany, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and
No, it was in between Germany.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they they obviously went with a team, and when they landed miles away from
Mhm.
their destination by parachute, one of the men died, was killed actually.
Mhm.
Like, how do you think of how he handled the situation? How he knew it was one of them, but he didn't want them to know that he thinks that he knows it's one of them, that he's got a spy among them.
Well, he already knew that he had a spy. That's what. You get the vibe the second he realized. Oh no, we got a spy, and that's why that's one of the main reasons they brought Clint Eastwood in there. They actually handpicked all the spies. That was, like I said, this whole movie makes an amazing spy movie. And definitely, if you're hearing this, you shouldn't be hearing this right now because if you haven't seen this movie yet. But it's really a great movie, and I wish there were more movies like it. I hate to say it, like we're not going to see. I, I I I fear if Steven Spielberg ever makes this movie because he's talked about making this movie.
Remaking it. Oh, dude, no, this guy's got a hard on for spotlights.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope not.
No,
I hope he does it,
if Spielberg thinks this is the
but
perfect movie, like he says, or as I've been led to believe he has said, then he wouldn't want to remake it because it's great the way it is.
it is. It is one of the most perfect movies out there. It explains everything. You get a vibe of everything. He explains the spy stuff. Although I gotta feel sorry because not every one of those guys was a spy. Two of those guys went on that mission and are now sitting in a POW camp.
Poor poor guys.
No, no, seriously, if you think about that, at the end of that movie, two of those guys is in a POW camp, or they could have been on that fucking they could have been on that been in that castle when it blew up.
Ooh, possible, possibly.
I'm just saying those two guys got fucked in the
I
end.
guess the message of this movie is tough shit,
If
huh?
you're not it, yeah, yeah. If you're ever going on a mission with Richard Burton, turn it down.
Oh yeah, the wild geese. Look how many of his troops died in that.
No, seriously, if you ever get a mission when Richard Burton's the leader, turn it the fuck down. Oh wait, you're running the mission, Mr. Richard Burton? Fuck that shit, man. I'm out of here. So that's our thoughts on the on that note. That's our thoughts on Where Eagles Dare. Amazing movie.
Great movie.
And the next
They don't make
great
more movies
movie.
like this anymore.
Yeah. So now we're going to be switching to the Barbarian Month or Fantasy Month, whatever you want to call it. We're calling it Barbarian Month because there's going to be a couple barbarians, but we're starting it off with a movie that isn't about barbarians, but is very awesome. And it's a great fantasy movie. We're starting off with the movie because Shawnigan hasn't seen it. Pardon me. Crawl.
Crawl.
Crawl. Yeah,
Crawl.
you're gonna you're gonna like this movie. And it's an interesting movie. It's a little long, but it's an interesting movie.
Some movies are worthy
So
of being very long. I mean, in my opinion, I think Rocky 1 and Rocky 2 should be stitched into one long movie. So, I hope it's as good
uh,
as that.
uh, it's honestly Rocky One and Rocky Two are amazing movies. I actually would say almost all the Rocky movies are good, but we're not going to go into Rocky. We'll do that some other day. We'll have to
Boxing month.
boxing month, yeah. All right, so we starting out Conan like with that. Then we're gonna probably move on to Beastmaster, Then Conan the Barbarian, and the last movie I wouldn't mind trying to get my hands on, we're actually hunting for a copy right now, is Dragon Slayer. And after that, we'll probably move on to something Shawnigan wants to do. Any ideas, Dark Shawnigan?
Like I said, we may do Alien Month on my channel.
Okay, I thought we were doing Alien Month on my channel.
Oh, actually, you know what? Why not? No, no.
Okay,
Yeah, that it is. It should be your
here,
channel just
here
to keep it
you
consistent.
know what? Here's what we'll do. We'll do Alien Month on my channel, and then on your channel, we're gonna do.
We'll work it out as off stream,
Yeah.
but in the meantime, when we
Mhm.
say Alien, we don't mean the Alien franchise. We mean movies with aliens, like Men in Black and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that's solid 9.
That.
Where Eagles Dare.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everyone. You have yourselves a very good day, and we'll see you on the next movie.
All right. Good night.